There are a lot of things that spice up life and humanity. And of course, food is one of those ingredients that makes up life. You wonder why I'm talking about food, right? That's because I'm hanging out with a food enthusiast in the Federal Capital Territory. You can call her the #1 food brand and the #1 sport when it has to do with food. She's not just a chef, she's a serial entrepreneur, and she makes the most outstanding meal that you can ever think of. Now, you're curious to know who my guest is, right? Well, don't be in a hurry, because I'm about to start doing justice to a meal right now. After now, I will be joining and making you to know who my CEO is for this edition of CEOs Hangout. Please stay with me as CEOs Hangout continues after this meal. We are here at this amazing place that we are hanging out today with the CEO of Food Hub, who happens to be Esther Akinduro Mommy. I don't know why she added mommy to that name, but it's sounding very cool right now. You're welcome to CEOs Hangout.
Thank you so much.
Wow, this place is amazing. All right, so first and foremost, talk to us about your journey into the food industry. What drove you into this industry? Let's hear from you first and foremost. What inspired you to go into the food industry? Why food, if I may ask?
Okay, so thank you so much. It's such an honor to be in your presence. I mean, I just feel like this is it's a kind of like a moment that will remain with me for the rest of my life. But thank you so much for being here. So why food? Food for me had to come to a revelation. And so I have understood that food is sustenance, but I didn't know that it held a more significant meaning than this. I studied my scriptures and I saw that Jesus was very, he was very forward with teaching them the word. But when he got to food, he said, sit down. So I was like, why would you tell them to sit down? So there are many, but I think that the reason for food is the reason for life here. Is sustenance, is trust. It's everything that has to do with enjoying your process. So I don't take it for granted. It's trust. So when you talk about food, it's a journey. I had to go through this path with my mom. May her soul rest in peace. She's late now, but every time I thought about my mom, the only thing that comes to my mind is how gracious she was towards extending life to people, which is through the medium of food. So for me, I don't take it lightly.
Your brand name seems very unique. Is there a story behind the brand name?
Okay, you might not believe it, but trust me, Food Hub was not my idea. It was me being in this journey in 2016. I was pregnant for my last baby and I was inquiring some things of the Lord. And I said to him, look, I don't want status quo, I want to break out. And Food Hub was birthed. So Food Hub, it's not, I think it sounds a bit cheesy, but it's not that cheesy. It's more of, anything the Lord can do with food.
Amazing. How do you address nutritional needs and dietary concerns and preferences, knowing fully well that a lot of clients and customers have different taste board. Have you been able to manage those preferences?
Most people don't know that I have a certificate in catering and hotel management. So I've studied food intellectually, I've studied food spiritually, I've studied food socially. I've gone to countries that I had no business going because of food. I was curious. I love food. I'm a foodie. All right. I've been to some of the iconic places where food is mentioned. I've been to Gaveri, Wolfgang Park. In Madrid, I went to one of the best. In fact, even in Paris, you know, I've been to generational restaurants and all that. I've asked questions. The best soup I've ever taken, tomato soup in my life, was in Chicago. So I've been on this journey for a very, very long time. But I've come to this one conclusion. If it doesn't nourish, it will diminish you. Food is the medium where the Lord uses to extend your life here in this cosmos. Food is trust. Food is belief. Food is love. Food is happiness. Food is joy. I'm a big believer for choose joy, but the right food would translate the right message. Everybody eats. There's nobody that is spiritual. Even if you fast for 1,000 days, you break that fast here, except you transition from here to heaven. So food for me is so important. And I've seen God do a lot of things with food. I've done ministrations through food. People can reject everything. They can argue with you and say, I don't believe in what you're saying. But the language of food is very, very universal, it's sacrosanct.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So I asked that so I can ask customers feedback. When customers give feedback, do you have to change the menu or the operations altogether?
Okay, so with my little understanding about food, I discovered that food is nutrition, food is nourishment, but food can take you faster to your grave.
Okay, so you advise them according to...
It's not advice. I know what I know. What I know is choose what you eat carefully. So being this medium that I can... I've not started. I'm just doing what I'm doing little by little. But we'll come to that. But I just feel that a lot of people trust me because of the brand that I represent. And food is a very powerful medium. So I'm just saying that salt, you are the salt of the earth, but you are to preserve. That's not the main dish.
That's not the main dish.
No.
All right, so I'm asking this in terms of when you have customers that complain most times, that do you actually change the menu, or what are some of the operational modalities you put together?
So this journey has been more of enlightenment for me, and I'm a willing student. I will learn till I die, but it's giving me an opportunity to make decisions for people who either have no right to decide for them. Some of these people just look at me and they say, you know what, looking at you, we can trust you. It's the greatest feeling in this whole wide world. But you know what? I also understand that, okay, so I don't cook with salt. I use salt to preserve. So I understand that what you do in the secret will speak loudly, openly. So I've seen where food cures, I've seen where it protects, I've seen where it kind of stirs you up. You know, I've been to, okay, so I went for an exhibition in one of these Asian countries, and everything there was about food. Whether you talk about the agriculture part, or you talk about the preservative part, or you talk about the creative part, or you talk about the, just name it. So for me, I've seen the power of food. Food is why you are alive. Food is why you will die tomorrow. Whether you believe it or not, is the truth. So I'm in a very important journey of my life, and I want to make it count. I don't take it for granted. I love the people I cook for. I decide for them what they need to sustain themselves for the next 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days. It's huge.
So let's even look at this. This look very, very impressive. But then other questions about this. I know you don't just talk food, but also you also do a lot of quality controls before you even dish out some of these things. So let's talk about quality control. How do you ensure that the quality of, how do you ensure the safety or the quality of your products?
Okay, so this is one thing I'm very passionate about. I realized that as Nigerians, we are truly not passionate about what we eat. This is liquidified, but this is concentrated. This has medicinal value. It has nutritional value. It has spiritual value.
Okay, I'm interested.
So now it's hibiscus, but everything here is natural. So I thought of it that, okay, people easily drink things. How can I make it easy for them? So I make it easy by introducing the things. And trust me, you know, Nigerians say, oh, I don't drink this, I don't do this, I hate garlic, I hate this. But everything I've made had garlic and they drink it. So how was I able to incorporate that? So for me, I'm more focused on the beneficial or the benefit value than more of the customs. So this, you can say, this is like 10 bottles of normal hibiscus drink that people will make, but I concentrated it in one because my only medium of gifting people what I have that speaks of who I am is encapsulated in this bottle. You don't have to buy it. You might have to pay some value for it, but trust me, that's not the worth. The worth is my heart. I just love the fact that people tell me your Zobo is the best, but trust me, what gives me joy is that they're enjoying it, including the benefits.
Welcome back. We're still hanging out with the CEO of Food Hub, who happens to be Esther, and she is a phenomenal serial entrepreneur. So let's get to talk to her at this point. Do you mind sharing with us some of the financial challenges when it has to do with you've been confronted with as a food vendor, and how you've been able to conquer them?
So I've not conquered anything financially, but what keeps me awake, what keeps me going is the fact that it's a platform and other people can, you know, they can grow and be transformed through that platform. So I learned early in life that if my pain is for me alone, then it's a waste of God's time. If it is to lift somebody else up, then it's well worth it. So I have some ideologies that push me. People might wonder and say, oh, you're doing business because you want to make money. Money is the least gratification for what I do. I love money. Trust me, everybody loves money. But to watch the people who believe in me just push because they see me pushing, you can't pay me for that.
Wow.
So there's a lot of challenges associated to doing business. In fact, the business environment in Nigeria just gives you an impression like you're wrong.
I was coming to that point and I wanted to ask, what are the major challenges that you've been confronted with in business? Because you don't look like one that have ever gone through challenges in business. You want to share that story with us?
So I always tell people who care to listen that, you know what? What do you want to achieve? Are you focused on that? Does that make sense to you? Is it worth your pain? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your attention? Because anything you give attention to is direction of your destiny. You want to do anything great, you want to do anything at all, find somebody who has done better, lash onto that. There's something they know. They will teach you.
The food industry seems to be a very innovative space. So I am curious again, how do you envision the future of Food Hub in the evolving food industry?
It's so huge. Do you know, you won't believe it, I'm freezing food and sending to America, Canada and all that. Food. You know the rice and stew you're eating here and taking for granted. It's the truth. I spoke with a friend of mine yesterday and he said, please, I need you to send me some stew. He's in New York. So, opportunities will always recreate themselves. It's not going to end. But you know what? What drives what you're passionate about? What are you passionate about? All right? What are you passionate about? Are you passionate because of money? If it's money, there's an expiry date. It's very quick. But if you are passionate because you want to add to humanity, advance humanity, human cause, trust me, that is tying it to purpose and you will never be able to fathom how far that can go. So for me, I'm in that space. Anything that does not tie into my purpose is a waste of my time.
So we're seeing Food Hub in the next 5 years in how many countries in the world?
Food Hub is an export for Nigeria. The Food Hub is not a restaurant. You guys, you think this is what we... no. We're just like warming up. There's Food Hub Rwanda, Kenya. We don't have to do so much elaborate. We just want to do Nigeria. We are true to our roots and global expression. Food Hub is a lot captured in one. Food Hub is Nigeria. Food Hub is Nigerian. Food Hub is me. Food Hub is my expression. Food Hub is how I cook, my technique, my sourcing, my ingredients, my everything. Food Hub is not Dubai. If I catch my fish with my hook, that's Food Hub.
Well, viewers, we'll go for a short break right now. And when we come back, we'll be going personal with Esther Akinduro to find out from her some of the things that she does for leisure. And of course, we'll be unraveling some things that you don't even know about us. Stay with us as CEOs Hangout continues in a moment. Welcome back. Now we're going personal on Esther Akinduro, but this time we're going personal on a lighter note. Come on. Now let's talk to you at this point. First and foremost, as a food specialist, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal? Water.
Water. Water is not a food. I stand to be corrected.
Water is the base for everything that
Is the base. What's
derives
your favorite food? Rice, eba,
Water is the base that derives its name from any food you can ever think about. There's no water, there's no food.
Give us the name of a food. The viewers are curious to find out from you, what's your favorite food? Our favorite food is tuwo chinkafa. I don't know the rest. Let's leave it at that. All right. So, what's your favorite travel destination?
Guangzhou. Because I believe it's an extension of Alausa.
That's Lagos. Looking at Lagos from another perspective.
Because it's a hub for everything. Let me tell you something about the Chinese people. They have Chinese market in every African country with no African market in any Chinese land. That's genius. And they are good in interpreting natural ingredients to benefit the human. So if you ask me today, I'll choose them as my mentors. They are too good at what they do. Food-wise, amazing.
Have you ever done any odd job before? How did you get
bricklaying?
To this? That's not possible.
In Canaan land, I was carrying blocks.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I can't picture you on it.
No, I was doing that.
And after that, which other?
I have hawked before. I have roasted corn by the road. I pounded yam in the market. You can touch this. So yes, I've done all that. I've sold food. I've done a couple of things. Trust. One of the things, you know what? People want to be deceived. I don't want to be deceived. This is me. I've done all that. There's nothing surprising about it.
When you see the beautiful face, you think that it is deceptive.
It's not beautiful.
When one sees you or you come out, that's Madam Mrs. Esther Akinduro, mommy, and you look all spiced up. One wouldn't even know that you've even done such
spiced up. And that's what I say. I say to people younger than myself to say, you know what? Embrace your journey. Be authentic. Love yourself. You are not wrong. It's not your fault. If you are born poor, it's not your fault. If you die poor, it's your fault. Just embrace your journey. Be happy. Choose joy. Don't worry. You'll get there. Crawl. Walk. Run. All right?
But this Nigerian journey of we having a lot of...
It's not Nigerian.
Now we have a lot of challenge. We have a lot of challenge with the economic and policies of the government, and it affects a lot of business. This has never affected any of your business before now.
If you have a business that has gone beyond 2 consecutive governments, then you will know that there are principles that hold certain things. You know, the principle is so important. For me, it's more of push. Don't worry, just keep pushing. Just push. You know, when I look at myself, I don't know. You know, some of the things you are saying now makes me feel as if I am just like a magician. No, I'm not. I just love what I do. Love what you do. Push for what you do. Keep going at it. Don't stop. Encourage yourself. David encouraged himself in the Lord. Encourage yourself. Keep doing it. Love people. Love what you do. Be a solution. That's it.
If I may ask, what's your favorite book of all time?
Bond is a movie.
We want a book.
To be honest, Bond, I'm not a bookie. I'm not somebody who... Okay, so when you talk about being intellectual, I trust that, but I'm more of a practical person.
Okay.
So one of the most impressions I've had in my life was that movie. When I watched that movie in 16, sorry. I went back to understudy everything that I knew about food. I saw that it can be a weapon, it can be a tool, it can be fun, it can be anything. So for me, the book that is written about food is not yet written.
I like that response.
Especially if it doesn't capture the Nigerian experience for me.
When you're not working, what do you do for leisure outside the workspace? When you're not working, what do you do?
I cook. I love to cook from morning to night.
When you're not cooking, what do you do? You cook again?
I laugh.
As a CEO, do you have signature dishes that you're particularly proud of?
Rice. I can cook 5,000 meals with rice. Just give me rice and let me be.
Now, I want to ask an amazing question, and it is, can you dance?
I can cook.
Can you dance?
Cooking is a form of dance.
Okay. Which sound or song inspires your creativity because we're about to make you dance right now?
Chants.
So when you're chanting, you start dancing and start cooking?
When I chant, when I enter the kitchen, I don't follow rules, I make the rules.
Which CEO inspires you the most?
Jeff Bezos.
Why?
Because he's an idiot.
You mind sharing?
Because I just watch him being serious and just making so much money. But I think he has something, and that's the ability to tap into the supernatural. They call it so many names, but that's what it is for me.
All right, just before I let you go, what advice can you give to the younger version of yourself that want to become another Esther Akinduro? If you are to advise young CEOs, what will that advice be?
Be sincere. Be you. Love people. Hug people sincerely. Love them. Don't assume. People go through stuff and they pretend. Hug them and love them like that. Just be sincere. Love them. Hug them.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you.
You guys are phenomenal. Like, I must say this, the moment you guys walked into this space, I felt like there was an energy that came into here. Thank you so much for what you do, and I know that you don't do it because you'll be paid for it. You do it because you love to just highlight what people cannot do for themselves.
I feel like not leaving here, but then it's time to go. This is how far we can run. Till we come your way again, same time, same station. I remain your host, Godwin Sunday. Bye for now.